Hello everyone, I'm Sapna, Assistant Professor from the Department of Information Science and Engineering, NMAM Institute of Technology, NITTE, and I welcome you all to this session on hierarchical clustering. In the previous session on clustering, I had mentioned about what hierarchical clustering is. In this session, we'll refresh about hierarchical clustering and its types. Then we'll move ahead and learn more about agglomerative clustering and the linkage criteria, which is a very important factor for hierarchical clustering. Finally, we'll study about the dendrogram, which provides a visual representation for hierarchical clustering. So let us begin this session with a brief introduction to hierarchical clustering. Hierarchical clustering is a technique which works on building a hierarchy of clusters. When we mention about hierarchy, the most prevalent form of hierarchy is the top-down hierarchy or the bottom-up hierarchy. In the case of top-down hierarchy, we always start from the topmost level and move towards the lower levels. For example, we can consider the structure of a file system, where we always start from the root node and then move through the different levels in order to reach the files that are present at the leaf level. However, in the case of bottom-up hierarchy, we start from the lowermost level and move towards the top. A simple example that we can consider for bottom-up hierarchy is the postal address. Whenever we write a postal address, we would never start with a mention of the state. We would always start with the lowermost level, that is the door number, the building name, the street, city, and the state. Based on these two hierarchies, we can have two types of hierarchical clustering. Agglomerative hierarchical clustering, which works in a bottom-up manner, and the divisive clustering, which works in a top-down manner. Through this session, we'll discuss only about agglomerative clustering. Agglomerative clustering works in a bottom-up manner where it initially considers each and every data point in the dataset to be individual independent clusters. Then, it finds the distance between the clusters and merges the two closest clusters together. And this process will repeat until there is only one single cluster left. The visual representation that has been shown here for agglomerative clustering will give us a better understanding of how agglomerative clustering is actually working. It starts with n data points being represented as individual clusters, and finally, after all the processing would be done, all the n data points would be a part of one single cluster. The two main key points that we need to consider here will be the distance metric and the linkage criteria. The distance metric is indicating the method that we use to calculate the distance between the data points. It can be either the Euclidean distance, Manhattan distance, cosine distance, or any possible distance measure, whereas the linkage criteria is used to refer to how the distance between the clusters is being calculated. For example, let us consider that we have two different clusters with each cluster having 3 data points. Now, how are we going to compute the distance between the clusters? Which are the points that we take into consideration in order to compute the distance between the cluster? This information will be given by the linkage criteria. In this session, we will be studying about 4 different linkage criteria. The first one being the single linkage. The single linkage distance between two clusters Ci and Cj can be defined as the shortest distance between 2 points belonging to different clusters. So, if we consider these two clusters that has been shown here, then the 2 points that will cover the shortest distance will be the one marked in red, and the distance between them can be used to indicate the distance between the cluster. The next distance linkage criteria is the complete linkage, where it indicates the distance between two clusters Ci and Cj as the longest distance between 2 points in each cluster. So, if we consider this representation of clusters, then we see that the points which are marked in red are the ones which are at the longest distance from one another. So the distance between these 2 points can be considered as the distance between the clusters. The third linkage criteria is the group average linkage criteria, or we can simply call it as the average linkage criteria. And in this case, we find the distance between every pair of data points between the clusters and then find the average of the distance to find the final distance between the cluster. So here we find the distance between every pair of data points. Once we get all the distances, we will find the average of the distances in order to get the distance between the clusters. And the last case of linkage criteria is called the Ward linkage, which is based on WCSS, that is the within cluster sum of squares. So in order to understand how this Ward linkage is working, we will consider an example of 2 clusters, and based on this we will be explaining the different points or different parts of the Ward linkage distance formula. So let us consider the first cluster is representing the cluster Ci with its center being Ri, and the second cluster is a cluster Cj with its center being represented as Rj. The first thing that we will do is we will find the distance of every data point in cluster 1 to its cluster center and then find the square of the distances and add it up. That will be represented with the first term in the distance measure. The same thing will be repeated with the second cluster. We will find the distance of each of the data point in the second cluster with its cluster center and then square up all the distances and add it, which will be representing the second term in the distance measure. And finally, what we do is we will consider that we are merging these 2 clusters together. So once we merge the 2 clusters together, we will be getting just one cluster and we represent the center of that cluster as Rij. Now what we do is we will be finding the distance of each and every point from cluster Ci and cluster Cj from this center Rij and then find the square of these distances and sum it up, which will be represented by the third term here, and then performing the addition and subtraction operation on these distances, we will finally get the Ward linkage distance between the clusters. So these are the 4 major linkage criteria that can be used in order to calculate the distance between the clusters. Now we will move ahead and learn about the dendrogram. A dendrogram is a tree diagram that shows the hierarchical relationship between the different data points given in the data set. It is always plotted in terms of a graph with the x-axis always representing the index of each of the data point within the data set and the y-axis will be representing the distance measure. So if we are using Euclidean distance to calculate the distance between the data points, then Euclidean distance will be plotted along the y dimension. The process of creating the dendrogram is represented here, but in order to understand it very clearly, let us consider a very simple example of one-dimensional data points and we'll plot a dendrogram for this using the single linkage criteria. So we consider a set of data points 7, 10, 20, 28 and 35, all of them representing one-dimensional data. So in order to start with the agglomerative clustering, the first step would be to consider each of these points as individual clusters. So I'll make each of these data point represent individual clusters. From the second step onwards, we'll start computing the distances between each of these clusters. So in order to make the computation easier, we'll arrange all of them in increasing order so that we'll not have to calculate the distance between every pair of clusters. We'll just have to calculate the distance between the adjacent clusters. And as we see here, it is already arranged in ascending order, so we don't need to make any changes. Now we'll start calculating the distance between the adjacent clusters. So now if we see, with respect to one-dimensional data points, the distance can directly be calculated by the difference between the values. So if I want to calculate the distance between 10 and 7, it can just be represented as 10 minus 7, that is 3. Similarly, in order to calculate the difference between the other clusters, we can just find the difference between them. So once I find all these differences, I have to see which is the shortest possible distance. It would be 3. So now, since 3 is the shortest possible distance, I'll be merging the clusters 7 and 10 into one single cluster. So the result would be 4 clusters, with one cluster consisting of 2 data points 7 and 10, and the remaining 3 are individual clusters. Now I repeat the same process until I get a single cluster out of it. So now the computing of distance between 28 and 2835 is very easy, because I can directly subtract the data points to get the distance between them. But how am I going to calculate the distance between this cluster with 2 points and this cluster with 1 point? So here comes the linkage criteria. Since I am using a single linkage criteria, I am trying to find the minimum possible distance between the two clusters. So if I subtract 20 minus 7, I get a value of 13, whereas if I subtract 20 and 10, I get a value of 10. Which among them is minimum? We find that 10 is minimum, so we consider the distance between these two clusters to be 10. And the distance between other two clusters can directly be calculated by subtracting the values. So now out of these three distances, 10, 8 and 7, we find that 7 is the smallest distance. So I'll combine together the clusters containing number 28 and the cluster containing number 37 and put it into one single cluster, thus resulting in 3 different clusters. Now I'll repeat the same process. The distance between these two clusters would be 10 and the distance between these two clusters would be 8. Among these two, 8 is the smallest distance. So I'll combine 20, 28 and 35 data points into one single cluster. And finally, the distance between these two clusters would be 10. So I'll combine them together and finally form one single cluster out of the given data points. Now, the final thing that we are left with is to plot a dendrogram. So on the x-axis, I'll be giving the indices of each of the samples. So since we have 5 samples, the indices will range from 0 to 4. As the first step in agglomerative clustering, what we did was, we combined the data points 7 and 10 into one cluster. 7 and 10 are represented by indices 0 and 1, and the distance between these two data points was 3, that is 10 minus 7. So on the y-axis, we can see that we have plotted it at a level of 3. So this is the first combination that occurred. In the next set, we found that 28 and 35 are the data points that was combined together with the distance that is 7 between them. So here if we see, 28 and 35 are combined together with a distance of 7 between them. And then the same process is repeated across in order to complete this dendrogram. So I hope you have understood and how to plot a dendrogram. The same thing can be repeated with different kinds of linkage distances as well. So this one was plotted according to single linkage. The same thing can be repeated for complete linkage or any of the other type of linkages. The next thing that we'll see is how to extract the clusters from a given dendrogram. Consider that I want to extract 2 clusters from the given set of data points. So how am I supposed to understand which are the points belonging to which of the clusters? For that, I'll have to draw a horizontal line such that it will be intersecting exactly those many number of points on the vertical distances depending on how many clusters I want. Consider that I want to divide them into 2 clusters. I'll be drawing a horizontal line that is intersecting the vertical lines at exactly 2 points. So if I see here, this is the horizontal line that will be cutting the vertical distances at 2 points. So now how am I going to determine which of the data points belong to which of the clusters? So that will be based on this. So if I see here, this point of intersection is connected to data points 0 and 1. So these 2 points belong to the first cluster. And if I see here, this point of intersection is connected to point number 2, 3 and 4. So these 3 points belong to the second cluster. Similarly, consider that I want to divide these data points into 3 clusters. Then I need to draw a horizontal line which is intersecting the vertical lines at 3 distinct points. Now, at this intersection point, we have 2 data points connected together. So, 0 and 1 belong to one cluster. At this point of intersection, we have only one data point. So, 2 belongs to a separate cluster, and at this intersection point, we have 2 data points connected together. So, 3 and 4 belong to the third cluster. Similarly, depending on the number of clusters that we want, we can continue the process and try to get the data points belonging to different clusters. Now, the final thing that we are left with is to find the optimal value of k for any given data set using a dendrogram. For that, what we need to do is, we need to find the longest vertical distance which does not intersect with any of the clusters. In simple terms, I can say it as, I need to find the longest vertical distance which will not intersect with any of the horizontal lines in the dendrogram. So, here we have to draw the vertical distances in such a way that it will not be intersecting with these horizontal lines in the dendrogram. So, let me consider that I am trying to draw the vertical distance from this point onwards. So, if I draw the vertical distance here, then I will have to stop it at this point, because here it will be intersecting with the horizontal line. So, now let me consider I am trying to draw a horizontal distance from this point onwards. Then I will have to draw the vertical distance and stop at this point, because it will be intersecting with this horizontal line. Now, let me consider I am trying to draw a vertical distance from this point. How long can I proceed? So, if I continue here, at this point I can see that there is a horizontal line here. So, I can't proceed any further. Similarly, if I start from this point onwards, at this location I will find that there is a horizontal distance here. So, now let me start drawing a vertical distance from this point onwards. So, from here if I draw a vertical distance, it will move up to this point where it is intersecting with the horizontal line. And finally, if I start from this point, I can draw a vertical distance till the end. So, now these are the 4 vertical distances that I can obtain, and it is covering the entire vertical distance through the dendrogram. Once this is drawn, I need to find which is the longest vertical distance. Out of these 4 distances, the one marked in red is the longest vertical distance. Once I find the longest vertical distance, I need to just draw a horizontal line that is passing through these points. Now, I see that this horizontal line passing through the vertical distance is intersecting at 4 distinct points on the vertical lines in dendrogram. So, what does that mean? The optimal value of k for this given data set will be 4. So, given any set of data points, once we plot the dendrogram, we can easily be able to recognize what will be the optimal value of k from the dendrogram. So, this ends the session on hierarchical clustering. I hope you have got some useful information on hierarchical clustering, agglomerative clustering, as well as plotting the dendrogram. In the next video, we will see how to utilize or how to apply the hierarchical clustering or agglomerative hierarchical clustering on any given data set. Thank you.